I have absolutely no business taking this watch apart, but that's kind of the whole point of this channel. This is the first full teardown on the channel, and I'm jumping into watch repair head first. I'm not a watchmaker, I'm not pretending to be an expert, and I'm definitely still learning as I go. But I want to take old watches, figure them out piece by piece, make mistakes, learn from them, and hopefully bring some of them back to life. So today, we're tearing down the vintage Vostok Submarine-style watch. It's dirty, it's rough, the bracelet is questionable, and I honestly have no idea how far I'm going to get. But by the end of this video, the entire movement is going to be fully disassembled and laid out on the table. Let's see how badly I can mess this up. So right away, I kind of did things in the wrong order. I started by removing the caseback ring before taking the bracelet off. At first, I thought that made sense. I was focused on getting the back open and seeing the movement. But after the ring came off, I realized the bracelet was very much still in the way, and it probably would have made a lot more sense to remove that first. And at this point, I had already decided I was not emotionally attached to it. And then of course, the spring bar went flying. That was the only part in this entire video that actually shot off on me. And luckily, it was just a bracelet spring bar, not some impossible to replace movement part. Honestly, I'll take that as a win. Once the bracelet chaos was over, I could finally get back to what I was actually trying to do in the first place, opening the watch. With the caseback ring already off, I removed the back cover and finally got my first real look at the movement inside. This is the part that made the whole project feel real. Up until now, it was mostly dirty case, annoying bracelet, and me questioning my life choices. But once the movement was exposed, it actually started feeling like a proper teardown. Again, I don't know nearly enough yet to look at this and instantly diagnose everything. I'm mostly just observing, taking my time, and trying to understand how everything fits together. But even as a beginner, seeing the movement for the first time is just so cool. After getting the back open, the next step was getting the movement out of the case and starting the actual disassembly. This is where I had to slow myself down. It's very easy to get excited and just start removing screws, but with the mechanical movement, every little piece matters. I tried to keep everything organized as I went, placing parts down carefully and making sure I understood what came off before moving to the next thing. At this point, I was still nervous, not panic nervous, but definitely that beginner feeling where every screw feels like it could be the one that ruins your day. But as I kept going, I started getting a little more comfortable. The more parts I removed, the more the movement started to make sense. I'm not saying I fully understood everything yet, but I could at least start seeing how one layer connects to the next. And that's really what I want this channel to be about. Not pretending I already know everything, but showing the process of learning in real time. So if you actually know what you're doing and you see me doing something wrong, definitely leave a comment. Give me tips, tell me what I should improve, or let me know if there's a better way to handle something. I'm trying to learn this properly, and I know there are going to be people watching who have way more experience than me. And if you like watching old watches getting taken apart by someone who is learning as he goes, hit the like button and subscribe, because this is only episode 1. One of the movements I was honestly worried about was this tiny spring. If you've worked on watches before, you already know these little springs can be dangerous. Not dangerous to you, dangerous to your sanity. They can disappear instantly, and once they're gone, good luck. So for this part, I used Rodico, and I took my time, not rushing, not forcing anything, just carefully controlling the spring as I removed it. And somehow, it actually went perfectly. That was probably the moment where my confidence really started to build. Up until this point, I was still kind of waiting for something to go wrong, but after getting that spring out safely, I started thinking, okay, maybe I can actually do this. From there, I just kept working through the movement piece by piece. The funny thing is, at the beginning of the teardown, I felt like I was just trying not to mess anything up. But by the middle of it, I actually started feeling more confident. Not because I suddenly became an expert, but because I was proving to myself that if I slowed down, stayed organized, and didn't panic, I could get through it. Every bridge, every wheel, every screw that came out clearly made me a little more comfortable. Somehow, I made it through the full disassembly without losing any movement parts. For a first full teardown, I'm counting that as a massive win. But before I could fully call this teardown done, I still had one more problem, the crystal. The crystal did not want to come out. I tried working with it. I tried being patient, but it was giving me a hard time. And instead of forcing it and damaging the case, I had to stop and figure out a better way. So I ended up going to Home Depot and finding a piece of PVC pipe that fit the case almost perfectly. The idea was simple. Support the case evenly with the PVC pipe, use a small die, and carefully knock the crystal loose with a hammer. Very professional, maybe not, but did it work? Absolutely. It actually worked like a charm. And there it is. The movement is completely disassembled. The crystal is out and all the parts are laid out on the table. For my first full teardown, I'm honestly pretty happy with how this went. I made some beginner mistakes. I definitely learned a lot, but I didn't lose any movement parts. I got through the whole disassembly and I even figured out a way to remove the stubborn crystal without destroying the case. That feels like a solid start. Episode 2 is going to be the next part of the process. Cleaning, inspecting, figuring out what needs to be replaced, and hopefully starting the road toward bringing this watch back to life. Thanks to everybody who watched this first episode. If you have any tips, suggestions, or things I should do differently, drop them in the comments. I really do want to learn this the right way. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to follow the restoration, and make sure to look out for episode 2. This is only the beginning.